Welcome to Withdraw Consent. I'm Jack. So Victor used to be on the show if you've been watching for a little while, and he came up with this idea that he wants me to pitch to you. So check this out. I think it's very interesting. So you're in a situation where Trump got shot recently, right? So today's the 21st. So you figure this will be published, over a week later than that. So he got shot recently, and then Victor was looking at it like, okay, so if you look at Trump, 4 years he did this. We know what he did. And then at the end of that, Biden came into power and with the stroke of a pen, erased everything Trump had ever done, right? And just started the country right as if Trump never happened, So the highest Trump would rate to the system is an inconvenience, right? And definitely not the solution for us, not the final solution. I mean, he does some good stuff. Anyways, and some terrible stuff. But the point of this is that he's only an inconvenience to him. So why Victor's thinking this? Why does the establishment or the system hate him so much? Like, why do they try to do all these things to him? What is the thing, right? And so it's not his policies because they could just erase those rapidly in a future administration. So he's just an inconvenience to them. And then it occurred to him that basically the group of people, do you think that the system fears wealthy liberals sipping mochachinos at a cafe and all saying the same thing that CNN, MSNBC tells them to say? They're all saying that to each other at a table, and they're very wealthy and they've got power stuff. Do you think the establishment's scared of them? Of course not. The people that the establishment is scared of are people who have their own values, who are less likely to toe the narrative of the system, right? Who have a lot of guns, who are trained to, like, all of this is a recipe for disaster for the system. But you have all these people and they just never do anything. Okay, so that's fine. They can run their whole narrative and run their whole program. You don't have to believe it. It doesn't matter because you're not going to do anything, right? That's fine. But now imagine there's one person who, through charisma or whatever features Trump offers, he galvanizes all these people into a state where they're in a near action state, right? So his ability to do that is the thing that makes the system try to destroy Trump all the time. This is the one thing. It's not his Israel policy. It's not, they don't care about taxes on the chips. They don't care about any of that stuff, whatever. They care about the fact that he's in this position. Now, he's in this position where he could say the word and people would do things, right? And then there could potentially be an overturning of the system, right? And they don't want, so even though the chances are very likely that he would ever give the word, the system doesn't want a human being to be in a position where they could say the word and galvanize all the people who could stand against them, right? And so that's basically Victor's point. This is the one thing about Trump that truly threatens the system. And it's unlikely that he would ever give the word, because January 6th happened, and if he was going, I've talked about this before, if he was going to be the president and he was going to protect, and he believed the election was stolen, and he was going to protect the voting rights and prevent, tens of millions of, 70s or 80s of millions, depending on the exact number of Americans from being disenfranchised out of their vote, then he could have said the word. Just everybody raise your right hand right now and just swear in a militia bigger than the, any army, all army bases in the area, we'll just say. And, or in some future situation, he could be in that position, and this is the reason why they hate him. So I thought this was an interesting perspective to share with you, because we're always trying to get down to motivations and stuff like this and try to see through. Now, if you've got more to add on to this, or you've got a better angle than Victor's doing here, I think it's pretty good, his angle, but maybe you got something better, please put it in the comments below. And I just want to plug our Subscribe Star right now, right? I always put it in the description, and one person sent $10. That's the first person. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool, honestly. You know what I mean? And I immediately got a notification saying, okay, that person, they weren't allowed to actually subscribe, because I didn't know this, and we're using Subscribe Star because Patreon, with the content I do, likely to get dropped, we'll say. So you can't subscribe until you get 5 subscribers. So basically me and the wife use multiple email accounts to put in $5 each 2 times. So basically now it's in a state where you can subscribe on Subscribe Star. If you're broke, don't even bother. And then I understand the situation where, like, if you're like, I'm pretty practical about this. If I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I'll be the first person to start giving you $5 a month. Well, will that give me any more content? And the answer to that is no, it just won't. But if enough people do it, it could give me the opportunity to take the show much, much bigger. I mean, in some future world, I would do a whole separate channel and I would just do news related stuff, because every time you listen to the news on YouTube, you're hearing the same stories over and over again, but just from different commentators. And the value they add is what's your perspective, you know? So I go and I listen to the Jimmy Dore for the progressive perspective, like an actual real progressive, not like these insane people. Like Destiny's gone insane apparently over this Trump shooting and the Corey Cacciatore guy. Anyways, and then you listen to the same story sometimes from different perspectives, but I don't have access to anybody I watch that I can stomach who has a ethno-nationalist view that I have, you know? And so I would provide that in some future scenario, you know, if people were to subscribe. Again, if you're broke, just don't do it. I'm not begging for your money. Appreciate you, whoever the guy is who's put the money in. That's heartening. Appreciate you. Because it just means that to you, there's some value and enough value that you would do that. I appreciate you. Anyways, basically, I'm making this video and I'm just hoping that tomorrow I'll have completed that video about the Zionism that I told you about last week. It's going to be a short clip, like a minute long. It's going to flash through a bunch of pictures. And the point of it is that a genocide is happening in Israel, in Gaza. And I've already started it, but hopefully I'll have it done by then. It's a terrible thing. It's meant as a resource for you to share with a Christian who thinks there's not a genocide going on there, because Christians shouldn't support genocide. And if the only excuse they can have is there's not a genocide going on here, it's just a bunch of pictures of dead babies and kids and families and stuff like that. And it's horrifyingly bad. So far, what I've done with it. If you already know it's a genocide, just don't save your soul and don't bother watching it, because it's terrible. And if you know a Christian Zionist who says it's not a genocide, you can send this to them and tell them to shut it off as soon as they recognize that it's a genocide. Just shut it off and stop watching, because it's horrifyingly bad, the stuff I'm putting together. I'm putting together these pictures. I'm like, oh, this one's not bad enough. You know, there's only 15 family members dead. You know, like the picture before it was some. You know what I mean? It's like it's rotten, honestly. Anyways. So save your soul. Don't watch it if you already know that it's a genocide. Share it with people if you got a Christian Zionist who really loves genocide and is a terrible human being. Anyways, that's what I got for you. So my next video that will be in this format will be next Monday, and I hope to see you there.